This list truly proves that dogs are a man's best friend. Personally, dogs are my favourite animal. What's your favourite animal? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5. Dog stays with dead owner. There isn't much information surrounding this. I couldn't find out how the man died, but I did find out that it happened in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The man's dog won't leave his side. It looks as if the dog doesn't know that he is dead. At first, he looks at the man's body and then he cuddles up next to it. Number 4. Dog refuses to leave dead owner's grave. A German shepherd by the name of Captain refused to leave the side of his dead owner's grave for 6 years. His owner, Miguel Guzman, got Captain in 2005 as a present for his 13-year-old son. Miguel Guzman died in 2006. Once his family returned from the funeral, they noticed that Captain had run away. Miguel's family then went to visit his grave a week later, and Captain was sat right next to his gravestone. Miguel's wife said that they had never taken Captain to the cemetery, so it's a mystery to how he managed to find the place. The dog then followed the family home, but went back to the cemetery before it started to get dark. The cemetery's caretaker said that he sees the dog every day. He said during the day, the dog walks around the cemetery, but always ends up sitting beside the grave. He also said every day at 6 o'clock, he lies down on top of the grave and stays there all night. Miguel's son said he has tried to take Captain home many times, but he always ends up beside his grave. This story was reported in 2012, so it's unsure whether he is still at his owner's grave or elsewhere. Number 3. Dog guards 2-year-old for 14 hours. A German shepherd by the name of Dasher protected a 2-year-old boy after he wandered away from home. The dog named Dasher was playing with the 2-year-old in their garden in Australia. The 2-year-old then wandered off into a forest. The parents noticed that the toddler was missing and began to panic. They then phoned the police and a search began. 16 hours later, the toddler was found holding the dog 2 miles away from the house in a woodland area. More than 100 police, firefighters and volunteers searched for the toddler. They then found tracks of footprints and paw prints that indicated that Dasher stayed beside the toddler the whole time. They then found the pair after they heard the toddler crying and saw the dog. The toddler wasn't injured but was treated for dehydration and mild hypothermia as he was out during a thunderstorm. The family are thankful that the dog was with him, as it was clear that he was guarding the toddler the whole time. Number 2. Dog dies saving owner's life. This happened in Kazakhstan. A man was walking his dog, but he was also heavily drinking. He passed out while crossing train tracks. The dog managed to drag him off, but couldn't get off in time and was hit by the train. The dog saw the train approach and began to drag the owner off the tracks. The train used its emergency brakes, but they didn't work in time. Unfortunately, the dog couldn't escape. It was killed instantly. The owner was taken to the hospital. He had 2 broken ribs and a shoulder injury. He said that he was suicidal and that's why he was drinking so heavily. Number 1. Hachiko. Hachiko was an Akita dog born near a farm in Japan in 1923. He was remembered for his loyalty to his owner, which continued for many years after his owner's death. A professor made the dog his pet in 1924. After the professor finished work, the dog would meet him at a train station every day. They would then walk home together. They'd done this every day for a year. Then one day, in 1924, the professor didn't arrive at the train station. He had died of a brain hemorrhage. Every day for the next 9 years, the dog would appear every time the man's train would arrive at the station, but the man would never appear. Other commuters knew of the dog as they remembered the professor. They would bring the dog treats and stroke him. The dog died on March 8, 1935 of cancer. A golden statue was made for the dog and was placed in a train station in Japan where he would wait. His body was stuffed and can be visited at the National Science Museum of Japan in Tokyo. The Futurama episode Jurassic Park is based around the story of Hachiko. Thank you so much for watching. If you like dogs, then give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our videos. Goodbye.